Welcome to A Mess in the Kitchen, the podcast all about demystifying home cooking. I'm Molly Mogan-Cat, a food and travel writer who loves to cook but is only so-so at it. My co-host, Dusty Kugler, is a former food stylist, caterer, and food fanatic that always makes cooking look effortless and somehow manages to clean up after herself in the process. We talk recipes, cooking tips and techniques, our favorite kitchen gear, mishaps, and successes. We believe eating good food at home doesn't have to be so complicated, and if you screw up, who cares? That's why God invented frozen pizza. Here's the show.
Hey, Dusty.
Hi, Molly.
Guess what time it is?
5:13.
5:14. And also, according to my computer. And also, it's time for another episode of A Mess in the Kitchen. Woo! Yay! How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm really good, actually. You?
Good. I am. See, we're on Zoom. I'll explain a little bit behind the pod sausage, right? This is how it's made. But we're both. You're like, ew! I don't want to hear that.
I don't want to hear the pod sausage. Yikes.
I know. Ick. But are you in your bedroom?
I am in my bedroom.
Me too. It's like we're
God.
having a sleepover.
We are.
Yeah,
It's been forever.
I know.
I think our last sleepover was Palm Springs. That's a really
Yeah.
long time ago.
Yeah, that was like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Is it? No, I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
Maybe when you're pregnant. Maybe you stayed overnight once when you were pregnant here.
Why would I do that?
Because I think Josh was gone and we were watching
Yeah.
a movie. I'm sure I was drunk. You weren't because you were pregnant.
I think you're making the story up, but I like it. I do like it.
No, I think we did. I mean, once you had kids, no, that's like not a thing anymore, except for when
I
your kids are
know.
old. I feel like you were here.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
don't
I don't know. Whatever.
Well, or maybe it would. I was thinking that we probably did like a food festival or something where we
Oh, for sure. Why am I even
paired.
thinking that? Miami, I think, was the last one.
Yes.
But
Oh,
that's been
God.
like 8 years ago. So no. I think if you were pregnant, that was the last one. Anyway,
Well, anyway, see, here's the deal is that I think that we need to tell our listeners like how we know each other because we haven't done that. And they were
Yeah.
going to be like, why were you in Miami for a food festival having sleepovers? Like, aren't you two adult women? And what is going on?
just for fun.
Just for fun. Yes. So, well, why don't we back up? Because let's start by telling people, explaining how we got into this like food world,
Yes.
food
Okay.
space. What was your first like adventure in food service stuff?
Oh, okay. So first food job.
Yeah, maybe.
For me, well, I always wanted to try and help my mom in the kitchen. She never would let me. So I think that's what made me want to do it. And so I think I told this story, at least I told it to you. I used to come
Mhm.
home for lunch. This is back when grade school was in the 70s.
This
That's
back
how
in
old I am.
Yeah.
And late 70s, early 80s, and I used to pretend like I was a home lunch person because you could be a home luncher for
is
grade
that
school.
So that was
So
like
I
a thing your
walked home.
parents, a box they checked, and then of course, because it was the 70s, nobody ever
No,
checked.
No boxes were checked.
Oh,
It was
okay,
like,
okay.
oh, you're just a home luncher. Oh, you eat at school. So I probably lived, I don't know, 5 blocks from home. It probably took me more time to get there and get back than it did to do anything else. But I used to go home and make like soup and then
Mhm.
and cakes and things, and I'd stick them under my bed because I didn't want my mom and dad to know that I
That
was
you were-
cooking because they would have killed me because I was super young. Yeah, because I was not allowed to use the stove, but I was using the stove and the oven and anything else I could get my hands on.
Right.
So that was probably my first experience. I got in big trouble once nobody could find any pans or baking things, and they found them all under my bed. Because I remember this like it was yesterday. I made it like a pound cake,
Yes.
just out of a box or something.
Mhm.
And when I was watching TV, I always laid on the floor and had my feet up on the TV.
Mhm.
when I was watching TV after school, and I would run back to my room if I didn't think anybody was looking or paying attention to me, and I would like scoop the cake out with my hands and eat it and like chew it as fast as I can, and then go back in and lay back down with my feet up. But then obviously when everything was missing, like there was no baking pans, loaf pans,
Oh my God. And
soup
of course,
pots, anything, they found them all under my bed. I got in big trouble.
oh God. Just the thought of having crumbs under your bed. I
know.
bet
Can you
your
imagine
mom was like, why couldn't you just be a drug addict? Like,
You know, she was mortified. Oh my God.
I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dusty's mom's like, if Dusty's obsessed with cleaning, your mom is. That shit's
More so.
genetic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more so. It wasn't like when I was growing up, I wasn't like that. And then just like all of a sudden it started happening. It's
my
really
God.
weird.
Yeah.
Wait, it just happens. The mom thing just happens.
Well, no, I know. I was telling Josh the other day, I'm like, I feel like I clean for 2 hours or something every day, and yet I never get to enjoy a clean house.
That's
like-
because you have littles. That's just the
I
way
know.
it goes.
Yeah, they mess it up as fast as you can clean behind them.
And a dog and a cat and a
Yeah.
husband. There you go.
Ugh. And also myself. I'm like, I'm no treat here. I'm not the biggest slob in our house, but I mean, I can see a lot of socks laying around here that shouldn't be just on the floor. And they're mine.
And they're yours.
Yeah.
Okay. What about your adventure? That was like my very first one.
Yeah, my very first food adventure was just like not eating, basically, and not like I will not put food in my face, but just being really, really picky. So I didn't want to try anything new. I only liked plain noodles. I liked plain chips. I liked dry toast. I liked
Ugh,
some
dry
cereals.
toast.
I know.
What the?
Plain hamburgers, just meat, 2
What?
pieces of bread, nothing on it. So super picky,
Wow.
super picky. And things got a little bit better as I got older.
No
But
wonder you
it-
didn't like food. It all tasted like nothing.
I know. Well, I started eating, once I got to be 10 or 11, I started trying, like, Miracle Whip on a turkey sandwich. I didn't try
Ooh.
mayo until I was like in college, literally, or mustard. Yeah, no, thank you. I didn't do that till much later either. I know,
I
but
love
then
that.
then one day I was probably like 15, and I was walking downtown Stillwater, which is where I'm from, and there was a help wanted sign in this little, like, I don't know, place that had sold like sandwiches and salads and stuff, like kind of more to go. And then it was a catering company, and I knew of the place because my friend Melissa's mom had worked there a little bit. And so I walked in and was like, oh, I see you're hiring. And they hired me for $6.50 an hour
Mm.
to prep things. And that is where I learned to cook Tasteful Times, THYMES.
Of course.
No longer, but yeah, it was so funny because my first day there, I remember being like, they handed me a recipe for like tuna salad or chicken salad or something, and I remember being like, what does julienne pepper mean? What is a scallion or a green onion? What is cilantro? What is parsley? I mean, I'm sure they were just like, did we? Oh, who is this person? I mean, Dusty, I didn't know how to do anything.
But that's
like, I
the
knew-
best way to learn it, though. Like,
I know, but can
That's
you
so awesome.
imagine? Like I'm actually paying this person. Like,
did
I'm
you
paying them-
wing it? Did you wing it, or did you ask?
No, I asked so many questions. They were probably just like, shut up, just do it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I was like, oh God. I swear to God, every single thing. I mean, I didn't even know. I remember one day being like, salt, you're allowed to put salt in things? I thought salt killed you. That's what my parents taught me. Like,
Oh my God.
truly, that in my house, because I grew up in fat-free 90s house.
Yeah.
So it was like margarine, yeah, like
Ew.
Molly
dressing.
Molly McButter. Do you remember Molly McButter?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, it was like a powdered that you could. It was like
Ew.
ew. Yes. I mean, not,
Molly
so,
McButter. I do not.
and the Molly McButter, it had a jingle.
Should.
But I remember being like, wait, when you put salt in things, it doesn't just make it taste salty. And Donna, one of the ladies who worked there, was like, well, if you put way too much salt in something, it makes it taste salty. But if you just put a regular amount of salt in it, it makes it taste delicious. And I was like, mind blown. Like I remember thinking, like, if you put salt in your food, like, you might as well just be putting cigarettes in your food. Like, that's how I was raised.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. Oh
Yes,
my gosh.
so after that, it was like a whole new world where I was not afraid to eat foods anymore, and
my
I
God.
started liking cooking, and yeah, so I went from the person eating dry toast and scrambled eggs without cheese and salt.
And salt,
Like,
yes, don't forget
yeah,
that.
ugh, yeah, to like the person who would make, like in high school, I would make our family's Christmas dinner, or you know what I mean? Like, I took on that role and I've never
That's
looked
fun.
back.
Good
Yes.
deal.
Yes.
I was a
that's
little
what I-
slower on the move because, like I said, my mom wouldn't let me because it was going to be wrong. And I instead went to the restaurant business. I
Yeah.
went to Denny's Donut Shop, my very first job,
Yeah.
where I schlepped donuts on Saturday and Sunday mornings from 5:30 till 10 o'clock.
And you
And
still wish you were doing it, probably.
totally, I would loved filling. All I had to do was, well, I didn't eat very many donuts because I think the first week I worked there, I ate like 45 donuts and I got the worst stomach ache. So then I was like, okay, no more donuts. But I would make the coffee, see all these cute little old men with their newspaper come in every Saturday and Sunday,
Mhm.
have their one donut or long john, and then drink their bad coffee and then leave. And I
Mhm.
made, I think, honestly, I think I started at $3.10 an hour.
Yeah.
And I don't think I ever got a raise there either.
Oh, yeah.
I saw I wasn't there very long, but that was fun. And then I just worked in a lot of different restaurants and bars. So I kind
Yeah.
of had the food, what do you call it? I don't even know what word I'm looking for. I had the food fever. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I was intrigued by it. So
Yes, me too. Me too. Of course, I never worked. Oh, no, that's a lie. I was gonna say I never worked anywhere where I got like tips, but because I, like, for me, I know you loved waiting tables, but for
yes.
me, it was like a panic attack. I mean, instantly. So I worked at a sushi restaurant in
Oh, I remember this.
college, Ponton. Oh my God, it was so funny. First of all, I mean, it was like, you know, there was like the cool sushi place on campus at UW-Madison, and then this was not cool. So Tauntaun was off of State Street, and it was run by this guy Kenny and this woman Akemi, who were not they were from Japan. They weren't married, but maybe were a couple, but maybe weren't. They didn't live together, and did not speak that much English. And then there was this the sushi chef, Sue, was Chinese. It didn't speak Japanese or English. And then it was like me and my friend Maggie who waited tables there, and it was like I mean, they just had really I guess it was very culturally Japanese as far as a place to work. So like I didn't know a lot of the rules. Like Kenny, I remember I would put a plate down and he would be like, "Go back to that table and rotate the plate. You put the protein down in the back of, you know, away from the person, but it needs to be in the front of the person or whatever." So like I'd have to walk to a table and like rotate a plate around, and it was just super embarrassing. And I was always afraid I was going to trip and spill, which I did my first day. I spilled a whole Mai Tai on the floor, walking to a table, shattered the glass everywhere. I mean, it was, I was super anxious and would like have waitressing nightmares.
Well, I had those too, but it was more of like just getting slammed, like every
Yeah.
table getting set at the same time and like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Yeah. But never like anxiety while I was actually doing it. I was like,
Oh yeah,
why can't I do this for the rest of my life? I mean, I guess I could.
you could. I think
So
maybe
easy.
I think maybe if I had worked somewhere where there was an actual, I don't know, like process and maybe didn't have to do all of the bills by hand with a calculator, you know what I mean? Like if there was one of those like boop, bop, beep, bop
Yep.
systems.
I didn't do the boop bop beep bop system until I was like 25.
Okay, okay.
It was all handwritten. I'm
Yeah.
old.
Well, you're
I
not
mean,
old.
comparatively to like
Yeah.
technology in the restaurant biz.
Yeah, but I never was trained in by anyone. It was just like,
Here you go.
here you go. What did you do? Flip that plate around.
So that was your college restaurant experience.
Yeah.
I worked at total opposite. So you were at a nicer restaurant. I
It
worked.
wasn't nice. I'm just putting it out there.
It was. Is it not open anymore? So you can say that.
No, no, it's not open anymore. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It was nothing fancy.
Nothing fancy. I worked at like pubs. Well, actually,
Yeah.
the place I worked was called the Pub Two, and then the bar that I worked at it's straight out of Three's Company. It was Regal Beagle, but it was called C2 East. But so much fun. I mean, but I knew how to make like I was making cocktails, and not like fancy cocktails like we make now, like old people
Gimlets.
cocktails like gimlets, Rob Roy's, Manhattans, old fashions, way before they were hip. It was just what all the lawyers and accountants in the office building were drinking from 3 o'clock until 7 when they had to go home. Really sad, but a lot of fun. We had so
Yeah, I
much
bet.
fun.
I know. I feel like the restaurant business is like either you get it and you love it or it's just not for you. And it's weird because it like kind of wasn't for me, but I also got it and I loved it.
Oh, I totally loved it. I mean, I waitressed or bartended until both of my girls were born. That's how we bought our first house and our second house and probably our third. I
Yeah,
just did. It was like, why wouldn't I do this? It's so easy and so much fun.
I know. It's sort of like social life meets money.
Yeah, like somebody's paying me to talk to them and bring them things. Okay, easy
Yeah.
enough.
I know why. I wonder why I have so much. I think I just,
I think a lot of people do.
yeah,
A lot of people do.
yeah, it's like, oh God, I'm gonna forget. Oh God, they hate me. Like everyone hates me. I feel like that's how what every waitressing job I had. I was just like ashamed.
No wonder you didn't stick with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but you
didn't.
moved on. You moved on to other things.
Yeah, I did, and that is like somewhere. So after college, I worked at a guerrilla marketing company that will. I'm not going to share the name of it because it still exists, but it was a very, for me, it was. I thought it would be a great job, but it was just pretty much like a promotional modeling job where I had to wear hot pants and hand out coupons to people like on the street, and it was so embarrassing. And I was like, I can't believe I like got a degree in like marketing and journalism, and here I am out on Nicollet Mall handing out coupons for what was it, NBA Cities Hoopla Hour, and seeing people I went to college with coming from their cool ad agency jobs, and I'm like, oh my, literally like have my butt cheeks hanging out of a pair of shorts. Like, you know me, I'm not like that.
Yeah. I would have paid money to see that though. Oh my God.
Yeah. And that's like, and honestly, the day that I was handing out these flyers for NBA City Hoopla Hour was the day I decided, I'm like, I can't do this anymore, and I'm going to figure out how to become a food writer. And that's how I met you. But
Yeah, and you did it.
I did it.
Hot pants and all.
I know. I left my hot pants at the door. I'm just kidding. Because, well, I guess we should back up because how did you transition from your, I know you probably waitressed and all
Yeah.
that for a while, but how did you enter the like food media world?
Okay, so it's a long story, but I'm gonna make it really short. So my first job out of college in Chicago, that wasn't in a restaurant, was at Arlene Wilson, model and talent agency. And so I was a talent booker. I did hair and makeup and styling. That's what I
You
booked
did
people
hair and
for.
makeup?
No.
Oh,
I
I
had
was like,
people.
what?
Yeah, you're like, wait, where is it? Where's your hair and makeup stuff? I don't get it.
I'm like, I thought I taught you to do hair and
Y-
makeup.
You did teach me how to do my makeup for sure, and how to buy clothes my own size, but that's because I had kids. We'll come back to
Yes.
that. Um, so I lived in Chicago. It was my first job. I was very excited. I was booking people. So I was the talent agent. I had a bunch of, I think I had like 8 stylists, and then I had like 10 to 12 hair and makeup artists. We were a small agency, owned by this beautiful, lovely woman, Arlene Wilson. And she was a model when she was younger. And super cute guy hired me. I couldn't believe he hired me. I was like, oh my God, he is so gorgeous. I love him so much. And I was so excited to be in like the cool fashion world of Chicago. And then like 3 months in, I was like, okay, I can't pay my rent since I'm making $18,000 a year. So I need to go back to waitressing. So I had
Mhm.
2 waitressing jobs and that full-time job. And while I was doing that, I kept getting irritated. Like, why are all these clients calling and complaining? Like, none of my stylists would get there on time. They were always late. And so I went into my boss, Dan Deely, who actually just passed away last month. And he was like my total mentor. And I was like, I don't understand. Why can these people not be on time? Like, if call time is at 8 o'clock, you were there at 7:45, and bring this equipment, do this and that. And he's like, well, if you know the answers to it, why don't you do it? I was like, oh, okay. He's like, I'll rep you. You go be a stylist. You know how to do that. And then I started doing prop styling, and then started doing some food styling. And that's where I found my like passion for the food styling part of it. And then I did that for a long time in Chicago, and here right when we moved here in 2005, which was
Wait, what were you gonna say? Sorry, I have a question for you.
I moved here in 2005, and I did a little bit of it here, but it was a really hard market to break into. These Minnesotans are tight knit, man.
No, I know. Did I go to kindergarten with you? No?
Okay.
F off.
You're not hired.
Can you explain what a food stylist is?
Yes. So there's a lot of different things that a food stylist does, but a basic one was like one of my first jobs was for McDonald's, and I worked with all the old, like, oh, sorry if anybody's still alive and listening. I mean, they had been at McDonald's for years, and they were probably home ec majors, just like myself, and they were masters at making the food look amazing on the commercials. So like, you do all the tricks of like, shaving cream instead of whipped cream, and that goes on the
Yes.
on the shakes, and the French fries, we painted them a perfect color, and you had to put use your tweezers to put the little salt on to make sure it was perfect.
You put the salt on with tweezers?
Yeah.
Like real salt?
Like big pieces of salt. So it was,
yeah.
Well, you spray it, and then you put salt on it, and then you have to move it if there was a clump of salt that was too close. You didn't want it to look too,
yes.
You needed it to look natural, even though there was not one natural thing about it. Yeah. Glue, like, use different things to make sure that it, the pickles stick on and come out just the perfect amount. Yeah, it's crazy, super fun. So that was like more of a technical one. And then some of the other ones that I've done are like, commercials for different like melons. You just have to make sure that everything's cut up perfectly and looks nice. I just did something a couple months ago because our friend Madeline ended up going into the hospital because she was having a baby. So I got to go back to my food styling days for a couple of days on set with for a show for Intuitive Content. And it was super fun, like getting all of the food prepped for the talent, making sure that we had swap outs of everything. Swap out is like what they're making. You have to have it fully done before. So then they magic of the oven, it comes out looking perfectly, even though it's only been 5 minutes. So that's basically what a food stylist does.
I know. It sounds, I think it sounds, of course, what doesn't sound stressful to me? I'm like, that sounds so stressful.
I don't know. What doesn't sound stressful to you?
I don't know. Do you know I was diagnosed with an anxiety disorder? That's true, actually. But yeah, so you okay, so I'm there in my hot pants,
Yep.
you're food styling, and then like how do we cross paths? You got there first.
I got there first. So, 2005, we're here,
Hmm.
move here to Minneapolis. I have two little kids. A good friend of mine, Kelly Lanesbury. There we
Hey,
are
there we
again.
go. Kelly, the Where's Waldo of this
That's
podcast.
right. We're gonna have her on. She's real, I swear.
Yep.
Kelly, I was saying I wish I had a part-time job because I was doing some styling, but Rafferty, my oldest, was in kindergarten and I was working like 14, 16-hour days. Wasn't working because
Hmm.
my husband Prentice was working. So she's like, hey, I don't know if you'd be into this, but this local TV guy is looking for an assistant. And I was like, oh, there might be some styling stuff in there. It's kind of some admin stuff. I'm super organized. Great. So I met Andrew Zimmern, the chef, TV host, writer, million things after that. And
Yes, but he was just TV columnist,
yep,
chef at that
dining
point.
critic at that point.
Yes.
Yes, it wasn't the Bizarre Foods hadn't happened yet. They had shot the pilot,
Hmm.
but I started in September. And then they had shot the pilot, and then Travel Channel picked it up as a series 3 weeks after I started. So I was supposed to be working 15 to 20 hours a week. And
Hmm.
within 3 weeks, I was working 40 to 70 hours a week. It was like insanity, but it was great because he knew that my only reason for working is that I needed flexibility, and it worked out. So I was working from home. I'd be there for a while, come home and get kids off the bus, all that good
Hmm.
stuff. So I started working for him. And then I think 2 years later,
Yes.
and lots of television and writing and endorsements and sponsorships and all that kind of stuff later, here comes Molly Hot Pants without the hot pants,
No.
with
Yes,
her
I won't.
lunchbox.
With my lunchbox and no pants at all. Um, so,
Let's really quickly though, let's
oh
explain
God.
our office. Our office was on Grand Avenue,
Yes.
across from Tavern on Grand, and we shared that space with St. Paul Sober Living, which means we also shared that bathroom with every
Hmm.
single person who had to come up and take a pee test every day.
Yes.
Mhm.
I've never seen so much pee in like a It's like people come in all the time. Hey, where do I put this? It's like a pee sample in like a little plastic cup. I'm like, how about not anywhere near me? Like, so yeah. So I had. Oh, so Dusty's been working there for 2 years. I am tired of the hot pant life. Um, I do. I sat down. I like living this. Of course, I'm like, what the hell did I have to care about in the world? That my life was so like no responsibilities, but I was in my high rise apartment downtown Minneapolis being like, what am I ever going to make of my life? And I watched The Secret documentary, which is so cheesy, but I was like, maybe it's true. Maybe ideas do become actions and like you can manifest your reality. So I learned about Andrew's show had just come out. So yeah, while it was greenlit long before on Travel
Right.
Channel, it was just the first season was airing. And I found out that through my boss at Hot Pants Company, he was like, "Oh yeah, you want to do food writing? Yeah, that guy Andrew Zimmern with that new show on Travel Channel lives here. You should talk to him." So I tore out a picture of him and put it next to my bed on my nightstand, like crazy person, which is so gross now that I like know him. But anyway, and I was like, I'm gonna figure out how to meet this guy. So the next day, I happened to track down his email address. I sent him an email that was like, "Hey, I like what you're doing and would love to pursue something, food and travel writing related. Can we meet for breakfast or coffee?" And and then I attached a picture of me on a plane with like one of those face masks on and a post-it that said, "Please wake for food."
You said
And
something about Russia, though.
oh no, no, I did say something about Russia, but I sent him that and then he responded and said like, "Thanks for your email. Maybe we could hook you up with an internship or maybe later a paid gig. Because now that I know Andrew, he's like the most impulsive person. Like, I don't know. Of course, he was just like, sure. I've
And
never
I'm in
met
the
you.
background going,
What?
what do we need an intern for?
Right. So he said, I'm in St. Petersburg, Russia, not Florida, but contact my assistant, Dusty, and set up an interview. So I set up an interview with Dusty, who was a woman, not a man.
That's true.
Yes. And yeah, came to meet with you and met, you know who, Barrett.
Barrett Soley Holt.
Yep. Who was working there. And yeah, interviewed, and I started working there like, I don't know, you guys hired me.
hmm
And then I guess I started getting paid shortly thereafter, which you were probably like, we don't have money for this. But I didn't, it was probably working out to about $6.50 an hour.
Probably so. And we were all like literally scrunched into one room.
One bedroom, like the place where we worked wasn't even it wasn't an office building.
No.
It was apartments that had been kind of converted into offices, but only in title, not in structure. So
No.
our office, the three of us shared a bedroom.
The largest bedroom with one closet and a
Yeah.
window air conditioner.
Yes, it was hot as balls in there.
Oh my God. It's so horrible. Oh my God.
And then, yeah, then the pee people next door.
Oh my God.
But it was super fun. And
It was.
yeah, it was sort of went like, I think I started off, I don't even know what I was doing, answering like the info@andrewzimmern.com emails. And then next thing you know, I'm like doing all the writing for the website. And
Then you did some interviews. Remember your
Oh,
first
God.
interview with the D'Amico guy?
yeah,
And you didn't
yeah.
turn on the microphone.
No, I did turn on. So this was my first radio thing, which I had, of course, had zero experience, nor did I even have any desire at that point to do anything radio related. But Andrew had a show on FM 107, and he was like, hey, Chris, I don't know any chefs. I barely know how to cook. I mean, I thought I did, but I didn't. He's like, I need to do an interview with John Acciato.
Yep.
Can you go and interview him about what it's like to he's like about farm to table cuisine? And I was like, I know what that is. No, I didn't know. So I went to D'Amico Cucina to interview him and sat down. I remember being like, oh my God, this is so fancy. He just gave me a sparkling water and an espresso that I'm like, am I in Italy right now? I was like, I just got hooked up with like $6 worth of like free drinks. So I interview him, asking probably the dumbest questions. I don't even remember. And I get back and realize that I had plugged the microphone into the headphone jack and had just like not recorded anything. It was so embarrassing. And then I think I probably called you and told you what happened. And you're like,
Yeah.
I think you just should call him and tell him you got to do it
Yeah.
again. So then I
Just
went
like,
back. He was so nice. and
do-over.
We did a do-over. But like, yeah, that's how we met. And we
worked together a long time.
yeah.
I mean, the
know.
company was like so small, and then Molly and I maneuvered our way over to St. Louis Park because I live in St. Louis Park. So we
Yeah, we got
maneuvered our way
to
to a new
move the
office, which
Yep.
was like a sitcom in itself. We were in the Miracle Mile, not even kidding. First shopping mall, a strip mall in the Midwest
America
or ever.
or something.
I don't even know.
know.
And it looked like it. Oh my God, but
Yeah.
it was so great. We had the best people in that building with Pui, the
Yes.
massage therapist, who we still love so much. Oh my God. If we had 5 hours, we could tell stories about Pui because she is the
Yes,
best.
she is.
And Sam, who
Yeah.
taught us Pilates, and
Yep.
Jean, the massage therapist,
It
and
was so good.
oh my gosh, Faye and Daryl, who was like the superintendent. He was the Schneider of the building. I loved him
Yep.
so much.
I know. I felt like I could get pretty much everything accomplished in that building.
I know. You could.
Liquor
Teeth cleaned.
store. Yeah, I went to the dentist there, acupuncture.
Yep. Oh yeah, Deb. Yes. Acupuncture. Then there was Denise, so sweet, and Faye,
Hmm.
so fun. We had so much fun. Anyway,
I
that
know
was
it was
our,
fun. Yeah, and we like I don't even remember how did I work there like 8 years?
I think so, because Madeline, who's there now, I think she's going on her ninth year. I'm
Oh my
almost
God.
15 years in September.
So, and I feel like one thing that we should mention because maybe this I don't even know what of the story is going going to be interesting to people.
Be like, who cares? Shut up. Fast forward.
But one of the things that Dusty and I got to do a lot of was we got to take these like really fabulous food festival trips, like to New York Food and Wine and South Beach Food and Wine, where basically we got to stay in a nice hotel and get tons of like free food and booze and
Food
just
and
get to
booze.
get to people watch because like nobody gave a shit if we lived or died
No,
that was there because
no
everyone
one
was
knew our
like,
name unless we could
no,
give them something. That's the only reason.
right. And it was so fun because we just got to sit back and like watch all of your favorite food
Network
personalities.
personalities.
Yes, just like
Oh,
be in their
so
element. It
fun.
was, yeah, sometime if you ever get either of us drunk, which will not be hard, um, we can dish on literally everyone.
Oh, yes, every single one of them. Oh,
Yes,
so
from
much fun.
Guy Fieri to Anthony Bourdain, R.I.P.
To Bobby Flay,
Oh
to
yeah.
Giada, Alex Guarnaschelli,
Hmm.
Anne Burrell. So many fun memories. Oh boy, did we have a
I
lot of fun.
know.
And also so many crazy stories of like having 14 full meals a day and
Yes.
somehow trying to fit in the exercise, but food just kept getting in the way. Oh, it was
Yes.
so much fun.
It was really fun. Yeah. And then I had to leave and ruin it.
Yeah, bitch.
Yeah, but then yeah, I guess how long ago was that? Like 5 years ago, I left to pursue freelance writing and um
Was it 5 only?
maybe I don't know. I feel like maybe six. Well, I've been married 6 years, and it was
Oh yeah, you were still working there barely.
yeah. No. I was still working there.
It wasn't far after it though,
No,
I feel
it
like.
wasn't. It wasn't because part of it was like I just kind of knew like in that setting, I was I just wanted to do a lot of my own writing and I was doing like a lot of we'll call it ghost writing at the time and I was like, wow, I'm gonna have kids soon. If I don't strike
Yep.
out on my own and try to do stuff for myself, I'm probably never going to, or I'm not gonna have the energy after I have kids. And you know
Yep.
what? I was right.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm like barely getting through the days and like barely getting my shit done with these kids.
Yeah, but they're little. I was just saying, this is such an old lady thing to say. It's so different. I would go back to that in a second. It's
Oh
just
God, yeah.
different worry. It's so fun. And I was so tired, but I had so much energy. And it was like, they made me laugh all the time. Not that my
Hmm.
kids don't make me laugh now, because they do, but the worries are
Yeah.
like, are you going to live?
Right.
Is
No.
someone going to rape you? It's terrible. Like,
No,
it's
no.
You
Well,
don't think that when they're 2 and 4. Oh my
I mean,
God.
I do sort of sometimes think like, oh my God, what if my daughter like parties like I did? I worry about that.
Yeah, you should.
I know. But tell everyone what you're doing now. Because you're like a big
Um,
wig.
oh, I don't think that's the real definition, but yeah. So Molly left me high and dry, and
Hmm.
we had hired a couple other people. So Beth Gibbs worked with us, and we got some more assistants for Andrew. Lots to name.
Hmm.
And Madeline was working with us too, and Madeline still works there, though she's on maternity leave because she has the cutest little peanut baby right now.
Hmm.
And we started a production company. And so I kind of left the Foodworks world. That's what the name of the company for Andrew's brand that Molly and I both worked at. There wasn't anything else besides that at the time. Now there's 3 companies and I run all 3 companies, but I started the Intuitive Content with Andrew sort of doing all of the business side and some of the development, a lot of the line producing and things at first, just
So
because
you
we
guys
couldn't really afford it.
but you produce like food television mostly? I mean, I know
Yeah.
there's other shows too. Like,
Yeah.
what are you guys working on
Now, well, back
that
when
you
we
can
just
talk about?
started, we were doing stuff for Andrew, which was great because, you know, we had the talent side and the production side, which was great. I mean, especially for a startup, we were secured work, which was great.
Yeah.
And now we have Patrick Weiland, who is our our senior vice president of development and production. And he comes from a long, super successful background of like Emmy award-winning news reporting. Like he did Dateline. He was Connie Chung's producer. He was Maria Shriver's producer. Like, you want to talk about stories? Oh boy, does he have
some
them.
good ones. Yeah.
So he is currently running the company, and he's got like a skilled, crazy, amazing staff that we have, and we're working on some true crime stuff. We're working on more Andrew stuff, a new show called Family Dinner with Chip and Joanna Gaines' network, Magnolia Network, which is under the Discovery umbrella. We have, I can't talk about some of the other things, but we've got pitches out to Hulu and HBO and Netflix and you name it. We're doing it. So, you know, we're hoping and praying that because we live in the Midwest and we are actually greenlit to work right now, because we're not on either coast, we're actually getting some extra work, which is great.
Yeah, that is.
There's a lot of crazy processes and protocol, but yeah, so far it's been working out really well. And we're doing a digital series with the Potash twins.
Hey.
Yeah, and it's really fun, actually. It's called Takeout Twins or something. And yeah, they've changed the name a couple of times. I think Takeout Twins is what they came up with. But basically, it's a digital Food Network show that basically the twins try to remake like their favorite takeout. So it's pretty fun. And they do a lot of celebrities with them because Ezra and Nadiv Potash are super, super talented musicians. They're young. They're probably like 25.
Like jazz musicians.
Yes.
I can't decide if they're 13 or 75, but you think they're 25?
They're 25, but they look like they're 13.
But then also kind of have like
old man look too. Yeah.
Yes.
Old man look.
But I don't mean that in a bad way.
No. I don't think they'd disagree with you, but they like crazy talent. And so they've worked with Chance the Rapper and Diplo and all these people I don't even know about, but a lot of these people are coming in and doing like cameos and things. So it's pretty fun. Yeah, it's pretty fun. So we have a big crew, 3 businesses. Yep, that's what I got going on.
Yep. And then here I am podcasting and being a mom.
It's fun. I love podcasting, and I never wanted to do it.
I know, and that's what I think. It's so fun that we are doing this because it means we get to talk all the time, and
yes,
obviously, like we don't see each other every day.
Yeah, we used to like come to work and have the same clothes on, which was really weird. Remember that day we both had the khaki pants and the striped red and maroon or blue shirt on?
Yes.
You don't realize how much time you spend with somebody until you don't spend time with them anymore. So I'm sad I don't get to see Molly every day, but
then that's what makes this so fun is that we get to catch up, and
now we just need to start traveling together again because that was
it was
way too much fun.
It was way too much fun.
Oh my God. And on not on our dime, which was even better.
I know. Do you remember Andrew was like, do you guys want separate hotel rooms? And we're like, no.
No. What would we do? No, we like to go back and talk about everybody.
Yeah, I'm like, who will make me order the really expensive breakfast to our room? You'd be like, who cares if it's $13 for a cup of coffee? I'm getting it tomorrow. Sent to our room.
Well, we literally were working for, working is probably a loose word, but we had to be up super early, and we were like going
Running. Yeah.
all day long. Not that we weren't eating and drinking and having fun in between, but
Yes.
all the while we were working, and we wouldn't even get home sometimes until like 2 or 3 in the morning.
I know. Yep.
And that's why I was like, damn right, I'm getting the $13 cup of coffee. Come on.
No, it was it was
And
good.
And the $30 egg sandwich. Who
Yep.
cares?
And like this $20 fruit cup with like not ripe cantaloupe.
Oh my God.
So much
Oh.
cantaloupe in those things.
I know. We stayed at some
yeah.
pretty nice hotels too. We had a lot of fun.
did. I know. So I guess that's sort of our origin story. And I always feel like we will reference Andrew. People are like, who the F is that?
Right.
When really people are like, who the F are you? Oh my God. I remember because Andrew and I had a podcast together for a long time. We had like 150 episodes called
was-
Go Fork Yourself.
It was really funny.
And it was podcasts before podcasts were cool. So
You guys
Kinda-
were ahead of your time.
I know, kind of just missed the timing on that. But yeah, people used to always be like, who's that girl? Who's this girl on the show and why is she even alive? But
Not true.
we are in charge now.
Yeah, but you guys had awesome chemistry, like super funny, never a dull moment. I mean, it was good. It was a good podcast. It really was. It was just ahead of its time, I think.
That's right. And now look at this.
I
Now it's
know.
us.
Take that, bitches.
So yeah, let us know if you guys have questions about, I don't know, our story. What
Yeah, I don't think we left anything out, right?
I mean, yes, we did, but
well, there's a lot of details, but like,
Yes.
oh wait, you didn't say you are married and have 2 kids. Maybe we didn't do any of the personal stuff, right? Do we need
Yes.
to really? Or does that just
No,
come out?
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'm married with 2 kids. I work from home. I'm a writer. I'm doing this podcast. I do some ghost writing for people who are in television, but I probably can't say who they are. Maybe I can. I don't know. I probably have on the show already. And then I'm working on a book.
Yippee!
Yep.
And you also have Namakin with
Oh yeah,
Maggie.
that's true. Yep. And I started a business with my best friend where we sell winter outdoor accessories. So I'm like, just trying to do everything I can to spread myself so thin that I just don't do anything well. It's a great tactic.
It's not true. It's not
It's
true.
kind of true, but
You're still young.
yes, I don't know what I'm going to be when I grow up, but maybe.
Me either. And I'm 50. How about
Did
that?
Did you kick when you said that?
I did. And I stretched.
So let us know if you have any questions about our story, or if you want to know any behind the scenes celebrity chef gossip, we could.
It's going to
Probably.
cost you some major booze, though.
Yes.
And I
it
don't
will.
mean like a handle of Tito's. I mean a full dinner out and some really good cocktails and wine. Don't you think?
Yes. Yeah.
Highest bidder.
Yeah, we'll take it. Okay. Well, thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you for listening to a Mess in the Kitchen podcast. We're really impressed that you made it all the way to the end. You can learn more about our show at amessinthekitchen.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram. The show is produced by Twyla Dang of Matriarch Digital Media. Check them out. She's got tons of great shows at matriarchdm.com. If you like the show, please rate and review us. It helps new people find the show. And until next time, here's to good enough cooking. Cheers.